Hi, my name is Abby Gomes. I'm going to be talking about my Section 4 book, which is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. Um, I found this book to be super interesting. I definitely recommend it. I enjoyed reading it, and it is surprisingly uplifting, although the title might be a little deceiving. And I think there's a lot that it offers to explore both as a reader and as an educator. So let's get right into it. As for a summary, the Graveyard Book follows the life of a boy named Nobody Bode Owens, who is raised in a graveyard after his family is murdered by a mysterious assassin only known as Jack. As a toddler, Bode escapes this killer, and when he does so, he wanders into a nearby cemetery. Um, at the cemetery, the ghosts who reside there decide that they're going to protect him and raise him. He's adopted by Mr. and Mrs. Owens, these two spirits, and they place him under the care of Silas, which is this mysterious guardian of his who can move between the worlds of the living and the dead. I kind of took that as like vampire insinuating, but I don't know. That was just what I took. Growing up in the graveyard, he is granted the freedoms of the graveyard, so he's allowed to see and interact with these supernatural beings. He starts to learn ghost abilities like fading, dream walking, encounters a bunch of strange and magical figures. This includes like witches, ghouls, ancient beings, and all that good stuff. Um, he is like raised by everyone in this graveyard, but more specifically, Silas. So each chapter is like a little short story with a new stage of development, a new stage of Bode's development. It jumps about 2 years every time. It shows all like the lessons he's learning, like about trust, identity, and all of that. Despite the protection that he has from the graveyard and everyone there that is raising him, the threat of Jack, the assassin from prior with his family, still kind of looms. As Bode matures, he begins to kind of uncover the truth about his family's murder and the group behind it, which is the Jacks of all trades. In the novel's climax, Bode offers Jack. Bode confronts Jack and ultimately defeats them by everything he learned from those who raised him in the graveyard and those skills. Now that that threat is gone, his abilities start to fade as he becomes more fully human, and he realizes that it's time to leave the graveyard and enter the world of the living. Though he's really upset to say goodbye to his ghostly family, he understands that life awaits him outside those gates. The novel ends with Bode stepping into the unknown, ready to begin his life. I do like that the plot is structured as like the chapters are different stages of his life, because it is kind of a like coming of age story. So I like that about the plot. You kind of get to see growth in every step. For description of the visuals, there's not a lot of visuals inside the book just because it is geared towards an older age group. It's obviously not a picture book anymore, it's more a novel. Really the only the only like illustration that I would talk about would be like the front cover. It's just kind of like dark blue. I don't have it on me since I read the ebook of it, but it's like a dark blue cover with just like a tombstone. It's very basic, mysterious. It's like kind of intriguing, especially with the name. It's really all there is for visuals. Obviously, if there's visuals, you can grasp kind of more what's going on in the story. But as you get into older grade levels, you're expected to like read between the lines of the words given to you. So there isn't a ton of visuals, although it would be cool to have some because you could kind of grasp what they're saying more. As for genres, I would say it's definitely fantasy, considering that there is ghosts and magic and supernatural beings. It's definitely some fiction. I would say it's also like light horror. It's not terrifying, but I mean, the whole premise is graveyard and ghosts are raising them, and begins with the murder of his family. I would say at its core, though, it is mostly a coming of age book. The whole story, the whole plot is Bode growing up and kind of finding his place in the world, both literally and figuratively, since he's kind of bouncing between the real world and the supernatural world that's raising him. And a mystery, of course. It's definitely have some mystery aspects. I mean, there's the ongoing question of who this Jack person is and why he murdered his family, and kind of the prophecy surrounding Bode. Neil Gaiman himself has called it a children's book with a murder in the first chapter, which kind of tells you the balance that he's pulling with this. It's like kind of a horror base, but it's still a younger kid's book, and he definitely makes it more positive than you would think. I chose from the book to discuss that I think kind of encapsulates the entire book. Its message is you're always you, and that don't change, and you're always changing, and there's nothing you can do about it. This comes kind of later in the book, and I think it reflects one of the key themes in this book, which is identity and growth. I like this quote because it captures the paradox of growing up. We remain ourselves, and yet we sometimes become someone entirely new with every stage of our life. It's definitely thought-provoking and relatable, even for adults, although this book is kind of geared towards younger age group. Reading it, you still kind of grasp the themes that they're trying to explain, and you can relate because you've grown up, obviously. I think this quote is really meaningful because that's exactly true in our lives and as well in the book, that he's still the same person, but you're watching his progression as he grows and see the influences of those around him and all the changing he does and who he grows into as a person. As for strengths and weaknesses, I think some of the strengths are that it is very descriptive writing, rich in imagery. Although there's no actual visuals, the author is very good at not dumbing things down and really explaining, which will definitely boost a young reader's intelligence. The imaginative world building, so the whole concept of being raised by ghosts, and all of this is very unique and engaging, and also kind of puts a lighter end to what usually would be kind of a horror thing. I think the themes are also are a very good strength to this book. I think it's super meaningful, especially for the age group it's geared at, which older kids that are kind of finding their way, finding their identity, which this is what this book is kind of about. So I think that the themes are really powerful and a very good strength for the book. As for weaknesses, I will say that the opening with such a violent act could be a little sensitive for some readers, but also you kind of know what you're getting yourself into by the topic or the title of the book. The pacing can be slow for some middle grade readers, especially since it's like episodic rather than one continuous adventure. You're just kind of seeing the like each segment rather than one continuous thing. The vocabulary can be challenging, but I would say it's probably suited best for readers 10 and up, like 5th through 8th grade, depending on maturity and reading level. I think it offers great opportunities for discussion and vocabulary growth. As for usage in the classroom, one activity that I think would be cool to do is graveyard biographies, like a creative writing project. After reading a few chapters, you could choose a ghost, ask the students to choose a ghost from the story, or invent their own and write a short biography for them. Who were they when they were alive? What wisdom are they sharing? Kind of dive into the people who were raising Bode and see their influence on him. And I think that would be cool because you're learning a lot about his development and kind of like the theme of like friendship and everyone around him kind of helping him. And I think it would be cool to do like a creative writing assignment and have them pick one of the people who are mentoring Bode in a chapter and talk about like what they're talking about and how you think that they came to those ideas, and just a creative writing project, and kind of go on the other side of things of the people raising Bode rather than how Bode is being raised, if that makes sense. But in conclusion, I think this book was really interesting. I think the themes are very powerful and would be very useful for kids at that age group. And I think it was made really well, and I enjoyed reading it.